Like, it's just... All right. So, welcome back. Live from CPAC, Lawyer Dana Show, Mr. Reagan.
Mr. Reagan.
That's
what they call me.
There's the voice.
There's the voice.
This guy, so this is a good looking guy. You look better in person than you do
Oh,
on
thank
camera.
you, sir. Yeah.
Like you must be a ladies' man.
Only for Russian women somehow. I don't know how that
you
works.
And Trump both, right?
Yeah, Trump's got good taste, let me tell you.
So Mr. Reagan,
I understand that man.
You're Mr. I'll be Mr. Trump, you be Mr. Reagan.
Sure.
Which one would you rather be if you were going to be one?
Mr. Trump or Mr. Reagan?
Yeah.
That's a good question because that's a tough one. Oh my God. Well, I think Trump is such a magnificent president. I think he has surpassed all of our expectations. Yeah. Here's the weird thing about Trump. When he ran the first time, he exceeded all of our expectations because we kind of thought maybe he's a little bit of a lefty, right? He's from New York. He's got lefty friends. He used to hang out with the Clintons. So he massively exceeded our expectations.
Yeah.
What happened this time around was phenomenal because we had very high expectations this time.
And he's exceeded those. I like the 47th president better than I like the 45th.
Me too, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
Me too. I mean, okay, the whole Doge thing came out of left field, right?
Oh, my God.
Because that was like
what a blessing.
They were having a conversation, and Elon Musk was like, hey, I would like to make the government more efficient. And Trump's like, yeah, it's a great idea. He's like,
sounds good.
Why don't I head up an agency doing that? And Trump's like, yeah, okay.
What do you want to call it?
And then he comes up with the Department of Government Efficiency. That's pretty funny. But Elon Musk was just like, I will do this. And Trump was like, yeah, do it. And it has become, I think, listen, if I were to say what's more important, the entirety of the Trump presidency or Doge, it's the Trump presidency.
Yeah.
But of all the
nice element.
But of all the single elements within that administration, I think Doge is the single most important one. I mean, it's proven to be absolutely phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He creates peace in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Joe Biden screws that completely up. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about how? So you go into Europe and you tell and invite Ukraine
basically
into NATO.
Yeah.
Which we have a treaty with Russia that directly violates.
Right.
The vice president goes in there. That war in Ukraine.
Right. No, you're 100% right. Look, this is my own conspiracy theory, right? This is not something I heard anywhere. This is just what I've developed. I believe, and this is sort of backed up by what Zelensky said fairly recently, which was that they're missing a bunch of the money that was supposed to go to Ukraine.
Oh, what a surprise.
I think the whole thing is just theft. People call it money laundering. It's a grift. I don't even call it money laundering. I just call it straight up theft.
It's been too easy for them.
Some of the bureaucrats have decided, we got billions of dollars funneling here. We can just skim a little bit off the top. We'll put it here. We'll put it there. Nobody will miss it. Well, yeah, we do miss it, okay? We don't really want corrupt politicians, corrupt bureaucrats in D.C. anymore. Everybody's crying because everybody's losing their job. I'm sorry. You started working for a corrupt agency.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, sorry, you know, bad luck. If you did know, you should be in prison. You're lucky you're not in prison right now. That's my take.
It's a phenomenal time in America.
Yeah.
Well, let's tell the audience what you were saying when we were talking over here.
Oh, I don't remember. What was I talking
about? how it feels like we're winning. You got your sword ready.
Right. Okay. You know, this is the weird thing. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for saying this, but I was kind of sad when we won. I mean, I was happy. Obviously, I was happy. Of course, I was happy. But I'm like a soldier who goes to war, and I've been picking off the enemy for 6 years. Going to battle with a sword, just slashing people down.
Yeah.
And now suddenly I don't have a purpose anymore.
So that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
You know what that's called? It's called gold medalist syndrome.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So
like for the Olympics.
Yes. So I'm going to tell you. So this
athletes
right here.
Yeah,
so with winning in mind, this is
winning
from my coach. So I'm a competitive skeet shooter in addition to all the other stuff.
That's impressive. Yeah.
And I have learned from a guy who won a silver medal in 72 and won the gold in 76. He wrote a book called With Winning in Mind about what he learned when he got the silver. He started calling every gold medalist, and they would all take his call because if you, hi, I'm an Olympic medalist.
Right.
I wanted to talk to you about the gold and what
club
mindset.
It's a club.
And so he interviewed all the gold medalists, and he determined it was their mindset and the things that they're thinking and what they do in their routines and their prep, because they're not they just operate on a different level. So he has taught that for 40 years now,
Wow.
50 years.
He figured out what it takes to win.
He did.
And then he teaches how to
He
win.
did. I'll send you a copy of the book. It's
Fantastic.
phenomenal. It's great.
Okay.
And so he, on the day that he won his gold medal, went through this major depression. He didn't even go to his victory party. And the reason why
That's what I
is he
felt
goes,
like on
because I've
election day."
achieved the goal and I didn't have another goal.
Exactly.
You have to always have another goal.
You always have to have another goal.
You have
That's
gold
absolutely
medalist
right.
syndrome.
Yeah, and I did eventually figure out what I could do next, but for a little while I was kind of aimless. You know, you don't have
Yeah.
any purpose anymore because your purpose is so focused, you know. And I met a lot of, I lived in Bali for the last year, Bali, Indonesia.
That sounds like it does not suck.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I rode a motorcycle everywhere. It was fantastic. But I met a lot of former athletes, and these former athletes always had a little depression. They always
Yeah.
had something that they were missing, something that they felt something was off in their lives. And it was because they didn't have a direction anymore, because they used to have this purpose, which is I'm going to be this top level world-class athlete.
Mhm.
And then once they retire, they're like, now what do I do? And
Yeah.
there's a lot of those in Bali. And so I got to meet a lot of people who really felt aimless in life and kind of learned like the pitfalls of that glory of being a top athlete. It's a pretty tough.
Start competitive skeet shooting. We need something in the sport, and I like competitive guys like that.
Yeah, they are. They're very competitive and they're very disciplined. Yeah, there's a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And they got great physiques. If you want to feel really bad about yourself
Go
real
to-
quick,
Bali.
go to a gym in Bali. I mean, it's like Instagram in real life. It's
Wow.
crazy. I've never seen as much silicone or testosterone like steroids in my life. Like every guy in Bali's on steroids. Every girl's, you know, a little bit
Hold on just a
enhanced.
second, I'm gonna go take
you
a
know?
shot of steroids. All right, let's lift some.
Yeah, no, you know, it's funny. I actually had a buddy, and we do this session in the gym, and I'm giving him this routine that I learned offline, you know, off the internet, and it was specifically for people who are not on steroids. And I'm like, and I walked him through it. He goes, I don't really want to do that one. I go, yeah, but this guy has developed this specifically for people who don't use steroids. And he looks at me, he goes, but I'm on steroids. As my good friend, I'm like, of course you are. Of course you are.
So what is your purpose now? What are you doing? What did you decide? What's going to be your focus?
Oh, well, that's a secret.
It is.
Yeah,
Huh?
it's a secret.
Well, are you
actually.
sure you don't want to break it on the show?
Absolutely not. Because it may not happen. The thing is, I have a very big project I'm working on.
Okay.
And it's tentative. Not every project goes through. So right now, if I get this, you'll know about it. You'll definitely know about it.
All right.
But if I don't get it, then I got to go, you know, hide in my little corner of the world again and
Figure out what your
go back
purpose
to
is one more
Bali or
time.
something. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, here's one thing I've learned doing my YouTube channel, Mr. Reagan. I've learned that there's two kinds of currency when you're a social media person. There's money, obviously, but there's also clout. There's notoriety. And that can be much more valuable than money. Because when you have some level of notoriety, people can recognize you like you recognize me today.
Right, yeah.
It opens doors. It gets you an interview on a magnificent podcast. It gets you.
He's not talking about this one, is he?
One of my really best friends is Sebastian Gorka, and the reason I'm good friends with Sebastian Gorka is because I had that show.
Yeah.
He's introduced me to Donald Trump, and he opened a lot of doors for me.
Nice.
He's a good man, very good man. And there's been so many other things, and I'm not even really a big social media guy. I'm not really big on YouTube. Imagine the guys who are. I mean, they just have the world handed to them. You know what I mean? So it occurred to me that, I do kind of have to focus on building my channel a little bit more. Up until this point, my focus has been, let's get Trump reelected. Let's shift the culture in a way that will improve America and truly make America great again. That was my focus, really. I wasn't really thinking about growing my channel. I wasn't really thinking about making money. But now I realize that it's actually really important to do that. You can make a lot more change when you are popular on social media than you can when you're kind of a little bit hidden, let's say.
So what got you to start doing your channel?
You know what's funny? It was one Saturday. My girlfriend was away. I was watching political shows on YouTube, and I said, and I thought to myself, man, there's not a lot of shows. This is back in like 2018. There's not a lot of political shows, conservative political shows on YouTube. I go, some other a-hole needs to grab a camera and a microphone, who has some political ideas. And I was like, wait a minute. I have some political ideas. I've got a camera. I've got a microphone. I'm the a-hole. So I grabbed the equipment and I shot a video, and immediately I thought, I'll call myself Mr. Reagan. Back then, people used to call themselves funny names back on YouTube back then.
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast, yeah. Candace Owens was Red Pill Black back in the day. Yeah, that was her. Everybody had kind of a funny name, so I thought, I'll be Mr. Reagan. That's kind of cool, and I use a Ronald Reagan logo, and I had the whole idea successful, and it was great. Yeah.
So what is are you still just going by the moniker of Mr. Reagan, or are you using your
I
real
would
name?
love to switch to my real name so everybody knows,
who you are.
Kind of, yeah. I mean,
We'll tell everybody who Christopher.
My name's Chris Kohls.
Chris Kohls.
But but I go by Mr. Reagan on YouTube, and it's a pretty good show. Recently, I did a video called the Kamala Harris campaign ad parody.
I know, I saw that.
And that went pretty viral because
Elon tweeted it.
A gentleman by the name of Elon Musk retweeted it, and it went.
A nice gentleman.
It went super viral. His tweet alone got, I think, 137 million views or something crazy. So I was kind of seen by everybody, but unfortunately, my face wasn't in it, so nobody knows that I did it.
I saw your follow-up video about that.
About me
I
talking about it. Yeah,
I thought that was a great video.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I'd seen quite a few of your videos between or before that.
Yeah,
but you haven't shown up in my YouTube feed in a while.
YouTube doesn't like me so much. Yeah.
Why not? Well, duh.
Yeah, I like Trump. They don't like Trump. You know what? My show started there was this time that they had something called the Adpocalypse a while back.
I heard about
And during the Adpocalypse, they canceled a lot of YouTubers. Well, my show didn't get canceled, but they severely restricted my distribution.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, so that Kamala Harris campaign ad parody video, if you go on YouTube and you look that up, there's a bunch of other YouTubers that stole that video from me and posted on their small, I got 20 followers YouTube channel. I got approximately a little over 400,000 views on that. There's maybe 10 YouTubers that got over 1 million views that just ripped it off from me. And there was one guy who got 8 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there going,
we need
come
to
on,
take
YouTube.
that Kamala Harris parody video and post it on our channel.
Yeah, and then you'll get millions.
Because if you're not getting it, may as well at least
do it, man.
I'll do an intro on it. At least give you some credit.
Fantastic. I love it. Deal. It's a deal.
So where are you out of? Are you still living in Bali, or you said you're living?
No, you know what happened? I was in LA for the last 12 years, and then I started traveling through Europe. And I had a girlfriend in Sweden for a couple months, and she had always wanted to go to.
Model?
Maybe.
Is that too before your time? How old are you?
I'm 45 years old.
You're 45?
I'm an old man, yeah.
Dude,
I was born in 79.
Great, man.
Thanks, bro.
I was like, he's probably 30. So, well done.
Thank you, sir.
But, the Swedish bikini models. That was a thing, right?
Was that
in the 80s?
Austin Powers or something?
I don't know.
Yeah,
something if I remember from childhood.
The
Swedish bikini models.
Yeah. The
Swedish. You were dating a.
She was
dating a Swedish
that's
bikini
the weird
model.
thing. I'm 5'10". She was 6 feet tall, so that was a little weird. Yeah.
Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
Exactly. It was
right?
kind of blonde, Swedish girl, and she was like, I really want to go to Bali, and I'm like, okay, I'll think about it. So we broke up.
And you go to Bali without her?
Yeah, I was like, Bali sounds good. So
that's what you're missing, babe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I went and I checked that out, and I was expecting to be there for a month, maybe 2, and I loved it, So I ended up staying there for a year.
Nice.
And then I had this idea, I want to do something new. I want this new purpose in life. So I flew back to America, and I'm working on that now.
Are you still making your videos?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I just produced a couple of. Actually, I just started posting on Instagram really seriously for the first time a couple of days ago, and I've already got one clip on there that's got 1 million views.
Nice
on Instagram. That was, I don't know how that blew up, but
we're expanding our channel in a couple of weeks. I'm actually taking the Florida bar exam because. So we have offices in Texas.
Okay, so
out of Dallas, Texas.
You're a lawyer in Texas.
I'm a lawyer in Texas, and about to be. Actually, this past week I was a lawyer in Florida. I took my first case in Florida.
Oh wow!
You can take 3 cases.
Oh really?
Without getting licensed.
Okay.
And I had a buddy that asked me to help out another buddy, and so I went in. And
so are you moving, or are you just going to get the bar?
So, skeet shooting in February. There's 5 competitions, so I stay in Florida for the whole month of February, and. So I'm looking around and I'm seeing all these places. I'm like, we should have an office here. So if it's somewhere that I travel to shoot, we're opening offices and we're just expanding and doing that. And because the Palmer Law Group is the Lawyer Dana sponsor for all of his shooting.
Oh, wow.
And I have a Paxton Arms sponsors me too. I've won two rookie world championships.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, if I ever find myself homeless in Florida, I might sleep in your office.
I have an RV. It's a little tight, but
Okay,
you're
no problem.
welcome to.
Yeah,
I'm getting a
fantastic.
bigger one. It'll have a second bedroom.
That's the weird thing when you travel like I have. Like I was literally in a hotel for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's all your stuff? Did you?
You know what? My parents have a nice big house back.
Nice.
I just stuff it in
Yeah, right.
one of their storage rooms down in the basement. Yeah.
You still got your stuffed animals from when you were a kid?
I do actually. Yeah. and a lot of camera equipment for my show.
Oh, nice.
Like lights and all kinds.
So
of
how
stuff.
were you not doing the show for a year?
No, I was. What I did is I bought these little portable lights.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you get these little lights and you put them around. Normally I have lights like you've got,
Yeah.
big equipment, but you got to be portable when you travel.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I do it out of hotel rooms. I'm doing it here, the
Cool.
show here.
Cool.
Got a lot of good shows coming up actually. I'm going to talk about what I believe is the shocking secret behind Elon Musk's, what do you call it? Iconic social media influencer status. Because
Cool.
not every billionaire has that.
No.
But Elon Musk does. And
Mark Cuban can't even pull that off being on ABC.
Mark Cuban's a big part of that episode. I talk a lot about Mark Cuban, but Elon Musk, I think there's a secret history there that people don't know. It's a little bit speculative, but I think it's kind of interesting. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about trying to reach out and interview him?
Elon, well, because he tweeted my video out and it was a really big deal. I mean, Gavin Newsom actually signed a law banning my videos actually because of that. And so Elon comes out and Elon responds to Gavin's tweet where he says he's going to ban my videos in California. And he says, Gavin, I have conferred with the world-renowned constitutional scholar, Dr. Sugandhi's Nuts. And he assures me that free speech is still legal in America. Something along those lines.
Any kind of D's nuts joke.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And that got on Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rogan mentioned it. And I was on the news everywhere. I mean, my video was on the news everywhere because I used AI to mimic Kamala Harris's voice.
Yeah.
And when I posted it, I put parody. But when Elon reposted it, he didn't put parody. So there was this accusation that we were trying to trick people. Even though it was the
obvious.
idea, it was so obvious. It was obvious.
You have
it was
to be
a comedy.
a real idiot.
It was a joke. Yeah, it was clearly a joke. It was the kind of stuff Kamala would never say about herself. She says in the video, I'm the ultimate diversity hire, which I thought was so obvious. You didn't have to write parody, really. But
how do you pick? So have you seen the thing where it says, so Obama is like, I got to get a vice president dumber than me. Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden's like, I got to get a vice president dumber than me.
I have seen that, yes.
So
and it goes down to
Kamala
Tim Walz.
And it goes to Tim Walz. It's like, yep,
that's about right.
That's what happened.
I did a few follow-ups from that viral video, and one of them was about her calling Tim Walz. And she says, listen, Tim, everyone else realizes that working with me is essentially like a death sentence for your career. So I can't get anybody else. I don't really want you, but I'm kind of stuck with you. You're kind of like my last guy. And Tim's like, I'd love to do it, Kamala. So I did one like that. That was kind of a bit of fun.
Classic.
Yeah.
So not going to share anything about
my future?
About the future.
Well, let's just say this. I'm not going to stop doing my show.
Okay.
The show might pivot a little bit. I might start doing some other stuff, but I will keep doing the show. I love the show. I love doing my show, but I just might be focused a little bit on some other projects.
Do you go on other people's podcasts often?
Not often, occasionally. Yeah. I get requests occasionally if I get in the news or something,
Cool.
Yeah.
And is your primary source of income your podcast?
It's my only source of income.
So if they screw you over, you're screwed.
Well,
over.
I have been screwed over, and I am screwed over, but but I do all right. I'm not completely.
Are you on TikTok? Any other program?
That's what I've just started doing TikTok. I've just started doing Instagram, and like I said, I got that one video that did, and the video was actually not an AI parody or anything like that. It was, I posted a contrast between Elizabeth Warren now and Elizabeth Warren back in 2009. Elizabeth Warren now is saying,
did you put a headband
Elon
on?
Evil, he's horrible. And back in 2009, she did an interview with Michael Moore, the documentarian, and she was talking about the banking crisis back then. And she goes, when a lot of money goes missing, like what happened here, it's like probably some people committed some crimes. But unless you look into it, unless you investigate, you're never going to know about it. And it was so weird because she was essentially advocating
Oh, the
exactly what Musk
They
is
have
doing.
all flip-flopped. It's ridiculous.
Well, here's what I think. Everybody who's against what Elon Musk is doing and screaming the loudest, and Elon Musk said this actually in an interview with Hannity just like last night. Everybody who's screaming the loudest, they're the ones that are guilty.
Of course.
Because if you're not guilty, you're going to just be like, it kind of sucks for you. They're just investigating this fraud. The one person who I think is an exception about this, Nancy Pelosi. I haven't heard much from Nancy Pelosi, but I think she's lying low because I think she might be one of the most guilty of all of them.
That's certainly plausible.
I think she is a massive crook.
So have you seen the meme going around about this whole deal? It says, so imagine someone robs your store.
Yeah.
Elon Musk comes
Yeah.
in and looks
Yeah.
at the video cameras
Yeah.
and tells you who did it. And then you want to arrest Elon.
Well, right. I just posted a tweet the other day. Can you grab my stuff? Thanks. I just posted this thing the other day because you see all these protesters in like Chicago and
Yeah, what
in
are they
DC.
protesting?
And I'm like, you realize that Elon Musk is finding and exposing fraud and waste. And they're like protesting for fraud and waste? Like they want more fraud and they want people to steal their tax money? What do they do? This is how crazy the leftist politicians are. They're so good at like gaslighting people.
Yeah.
They're able to convince people to march in the streets.
Yeah.
For them to continue to steal money.
It's crazy.
It's madness. Yeah.
Well, Chris, thanks for being on the show.
Anytime,
I really
my
appreciate
friend.
it.
Yeah.
If we can follow up in the future, you'll always be welcome. I love your content. Love your
sure
channel.
thing, man. Yeah,
Mr. Reagan on YouTube. And this is the Lawyer Dana Show live from CPAC. More to come. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, turn your alerts on because we got more to come. We'll be back in a few minutes. This is the Lawyer Dana Show. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Fantastic, man.